Hi, Rianne. I'm Anisa. Nice to meet you. How are you?
I'm good. Are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, what's bringing you in today?
So I recently moved back to Orlando, and I'm starting a new job soon. And I'm a little worried about the transition and making sure that I transition well, and that not only do I start out well, but that I continue. So kind of like time management and things like that. And so I wanted to get ahead of it before it was too late.
Okay. Well, welcome back. Congratulations on your move. I'm glad you were able to get up here and you got up here safely, it seems. So, in regards to this transition, tell me more about what this transition is. Like, what does it mean overall, and what is it looking like?
What do you mean?
So, you're talking about you're in the middle of this transition. You're telling me you're about to start a new job. You just moved. So, is that essentially the transition? You're transitioning from where you're coming from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just moving from South Florida, and then I wasn't working when I was down there, so like going back into the work life, and then also school's about to get really busy in the next year, so juggling all those things and like doing it well. That's like I'm worried about.
Okay. So it sounds like you're using the word worried. So it sounds like you might have a little bit of anxiousness towards it, wanting to do well, wanting to maintain what you've already been able to accomplish, and and kind of keep going.
Yeah, my track record isn't the best. That's why I'm like, I need to figure this out, because I know like if things get stressful or if they like really mundane, then I like slap and I'm like, like I don't feel like dealing with it. So I want to make sure like I have the right mindset going in, and then I have the skills to like keep going on the right track.
Okay. So you did mention that school's about to get a little bit busier. Knowing that, and knowing that you're about to start a job, what kind of work are you looking into? Or what kind of work are you about to start?
So I'm working with DCF, and it's with the Access Department. So I'm going to be sitting at a desk 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, simple things. It is working with people. From what I hear, the workload is kind of like on the heavier side. So I think mostly it would be mentally draining at the end of the day. So that is something that I have in the back of my mind, and I know like if I'm drained mentally, I'm not doing anything physically. Like that's just how it is. Like my mind is the first thing to go. So just being on top of that.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure of like, the details of my work. I start training in a week, and then dates all that stuff.
Okay. Well, congrats that you got the new job.
Thank you.
So in the past, when you have found things to be mundane or mentally draining, what are some of the things that you have done to kind of get yourself out of that and kind of keep pushing you forward in a sense?
Good question. So I've tried a lot of things, and they work for like 2 days, because they're new. And then when I like realize my own tricks, they like don't work. So like for example, when I was in undergrad, like doing homework and being that routine, so I like walk up to the library and for a couple hours and do that, and then I'll go for 2 days, and I'm like, you know what, the library is boring. I don't want to do this anymore. And then I'm back to square one. And I don't know. I'm a very difficult person, and I know I am, but I still can't figure me out. Sorry, tough job for you. But
It's okay.
So yeah, it's just like I have ideas and I try things, but it doesn't stick. I haven't found anything that's long term.
Okay. Now you say that things are boring. So when they're boring, what do you define as boring?
Boring? That's I don't know. Honestly, if I'm doing it too often or too much, it's boring. Like a routine where it's like set in stone, I have no wiggle room, I can't do anything about it, that gets like boring to me. Like if I know I have to be in the library this day, at that time, no questions about it, I'm gonna get tired of it because I have no say so. Like that to me is like boring and mundane, and I don't like it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay. Let me see if I'm getting it. So it sounds like you like to have new things. You don't like staying in a very routine. You kind of like spontaneity. You like a little bit of kind of on the spot.
Yeah, but it's weird. But like I need structure too, because if I don't have structure, then I'm not gonna get anything.
Okay.
So I need structure, but I don't need it to be so restrictive where like I don't have a because I procrastinate. I definitely need time to procrastinate. Like I need a plan for my procrastination. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that way, like I procrastinate, but it's not hurting me. You know what I mean? Because I already expected it to happen. So like I definitely need structure because of my procrastination, but I don't like it to be so strict where it's like one day and then
Okay. And then now knowing with school coming up and it's going to get a little bit more hectic, you said, and a little busier, and then with the new job, and that's going to be kind of like at a desk. So with that, and now you're transitioning in all of this, you're trying to, you want to make sure that you're able to kind of keep going with everything, stay on track with what you're already working on. What are some of the things that you don't find to be boring and that you'd like to do?
Like, with what? Related to what?
In general. What do you find things that you like to do in your free time that are like not boring?
Eating. I don't know, probably social media. I don't do much. I don't have hobbies, which is weird. But I don't do much. Yeah, that's about it. Well, this is short.
Okay. And what makes that not boring?
Because I'm lucky. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like, I don't know, because it's good. You know, Netflix, you get a new show, you're like, oh my gosh, she did what? And then eating, that's always good, because it tastes good. So, yeah.
Do you eat the same things regularly, or do you like to change it up pretty
You
often?
gotta switch it up.
Okay.
Exercise that palate.
Okay. 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 So when you're thinking about that in terms of your schoolwork, right? How can you kind of set it up so that you look at your schoolwork as eating or watching Netflix, kind of keeping it fresh and not getting it, not being so bored or mundane?
Probably taking smaller bites, like doing like little by little, just because like the topic is interesting, but if you're shoving it all in one time, then it becomes overwhelming. So I find that like if I do a little here and then take like a day or two break and then do a little there, I'm like more interested and I do better work that way. And then, yeah, I tend to do better.
Okay. And when you do that, or if you were to start doing that, would that be something that you would essentially structure into kind of like a makeshift schedule so that you know, maybe like this day and that day of the week I'm going to work on it, or is it more kind of spontaneous, like today I'm going to work a little bit, tomorrow I'm not? It's okay.
Yeah. I think what works best for me is like I need to get this much done this week, and then it's up to me to decide what days I do it, rather than saying this day you do this day you do that. Does that mean?
Okay.
Yeah. That way, like I have my structure, but it's not definitive.
Okay. And so, how is that going to tie in now with transitioning from no work to now having work 5 times a week? Pretty much full time because you're there quite a few hours of the day. How do you think that's going to interfere with your schoolwork?
Well, it definitely limits the time that I can work on it. But it'll also make me do it. Weirdly enough, like the more busy I am, the more productive I am. You know what I mean? Because I know I have no like time to waste. So now that I know that Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, I'm busy. So like I only have evenings and the weekends to do homework. It's gonna make me get it done faster, or yeah, I guess faster, because I know like time is running out kind of thing.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you like to be busy. You seem to kind of you're able to focus and get things done a little bit more efficiently when you are a little busy or have more on your plate. And with this new job, that may kind of motivate you to get the schoolwork done and make sure you're not letting it go too much procrastination into the mix.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Okay. And then let's talk about work for a second. So you going back to work, was that a choice, something that you really wanted to do? Is it more because, you moved and you kind of have to?
No, I wanted to. I was looking even when I was down there. It's just like wasn't any openings, and so I applied to up here and down there because I know both areas, and I just got a job up here first. And so I moved more or less because of the job. So it was definitely a choice. I'm looking forward to it. I like being independent, so I definitely want my own income. And then I'm passionate about like community service field, and so now that I'm like working in an area related to it, I know I'm building up my resume. Like I'm working towards my future goal, and that is something that I'm proud of.
Okay. So it sounds like this is kind of a good transition. Although you're a little anxious about the transition itself, what it's going to look like moving forward, and how things are going to turn out, you seem pretty positive going into it. It's all been, for your own choice, and it's things that you've wanted to do.
Definitely.
Okay. So, how is your family, if you have a significant other, how are they feeling about this whole transition?
Well, my mom's happy because I'm working now, so she's like, less money spent. My brother, he's happy for me, but I think he's like a little on the sadder side because like I'm up here now. Like we grew up really close. We're only like a year apart, so we kind of like grew up as twins. So I know like when I first left home, that hit him really hard. And then I have a boyfriend. He's up here, and he's ecstatic. He's like, "Yes, you're back." So like I have support. Everyone's really happy for me and like where I'm going. So
okay. Well, that sounds like a really nice, it sounds like it's going to make it a little bit easier of a transition, having that kind of support and all of that, and then knowing that you have your family to kind of fall back on, if anything.
Yes.
So that's great. Now, with this anxiety, how do you feel, like if you had to kind of gauge the severity of it, do you feel like it's kind of really weighing on you? Is it just kind of like something that's starting to build up and you kind of want to nip it in the bud? How's that going?
If I had to put it on a scale from 1 to 10, I would say it's like a 3.
Okay.
So it's not up there where I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to figure this out. But I know it will get there. Like when I'm in my routine of working and then like I already know it's going to be tough. You have to learn all this stuff. When I'm in that mindset, like it's going to be hard for me to like think organized and stuff like that. So I want to have that plan, so to speak, in place before, so like I know what to expect. Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like here we're really your goal would be to come up with that plan ahead of time so that we can avoid you getting to the up there level of anxious where it's going to affect your work.
Yeah.
Basically.
Because if I get there, then I'm just going to shut down and call my mom like, oh, I can't do this. And so I'm trying to, avoid that step.
Okay. And so that with that overall goal and that plan, because I know you've mentioned you like structure, but you don't like too much structure. And so when we're talking about this plan, how structured do you think this plan is going to be or needs to be?
Like a medium.
Okay.
If I had to, I don't know how else to describe it. I just know, my personality, if I don't have structure, I'm just not going to function. It's just something I need in my life. But I also know, I don't like rules. If I have too many rules, I'm going to break them just because, a little rebellion in me. So if it's, in the medium, I have an idea of what my week needs to look like, but it's, I go week by week, because sometimes you come home from work and you don't feel like doing anything that day, you can push it or whatever. I feel like that would work best for me.
Okay. And do you feel like you are someone that needs to like write it down? Are you a list kind of person? Are you like a vision board kind of person? What do you think as far as that plan? Is it something that's just in your head? How does that look?
Definitely I do lists like all the time. I love to give them all. So definitely lists and then like calendar. I like to have like the big monthly calendars and then like a little like on my phone I'll have like a planner or something. Just so I can see it in different places, like so I can be reminded and that I'm constantly aware, like, okay, you have to do this on Wednesday and that on Friday or whatever the case may be. So yeah, definitely list and like calendars.
Okay. So do you have, it sounds, you have the big calendar, you said that's visible in your home?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you have your phone calendar that you kind of keep track of, just the day-to-day, and you can keep it on you.
Mm-hmm.
As far as your lists, do you have like a specific place where you're listing? Do you have like a notebook that's designated for your lists, or is it just kind of like on a random, whatever you can get your hands on your list? Or
I have the app Google Keeps on my phone, and so I make the list, and then they have it where you can check it off, and you can make multiple lists. So that works for me.
Okay. So it sounds like technology makes it a little bit easier for you to plan because you're able to kind of take it on the go.
Mm-hmm.
You can change things as needed, and it gives you more of that flexibility that you need in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's definitely good. I think writing things down is always a good idea, whether on technology or in person, because it just does help you remember things a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's definitely a good way to go. With these plans, are you said that you like the feeling of getting to cross things off of your list. If you accomplish everything in that week, are you like rewarding yourself when you do that, or is that something you've thought about doing?
The thought has come across, but I'm just like I don't know what I would reward myself with. And I kind of like I have the thought like, okay, this is something I need to do. It's not like, oh, congrats, you did it. You know what I mean? Like it's like a necessity. So why is it like I don't make it like a big deal. It's just something I need to get done. I haven't really like thought of a way to reward myself. It's also because I'm broke, so I don't got time to be buying myself gifts. So
Yeah. I mean, and when you're thinking of a reward, it could be something that's something you buy, but it could also be some of the things that you've even mentioned that you like. You said you like to eat, so maybe you reward yourself with a meal that you've really wanted to cook. You said you like your Netflix, so maybe you give yourself an extra hour or an extra episode one day that you can just kind of enjoy a little bit more because you've already finished the week. And so those are things that you can think about that may motivate you when you are in a busy week at work and you have a lot of homework built up. Just so that you feel like it's not all work, and so that you can try and avoid that boring feeling, that mundane feeling of constantly having something to do that's not letting you really enjoy yourself. So that's definitely something to think about, just so that you can kind of you should feel accomplished. You're in school, you're working full time. Those are big things. That is not an easy situation to be in. So it's okay to reward yourself, and it's okay to allow yourself to be proud because out of all the people on this earth, you know what I mean? You're one of those that's doing all these different things. So I think it's okay to reward yourself even for the small things of, completing the assignment in the week or, getting through your week of work and not, giving up or shutting down. So it's definitely something I think maybe to think about, and that may help with that anxiety just to start lowering it because you can see that you are getting your goals accomplished for the week and your plans are getting, all your lists are getting crossed off. So that's definitely something to think about, just kind of moving forward. Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. Okay. Now you did talk about your brother being a little bummed out that you're gone. So with that, do you feel like his being upset that you're gone might be increasing your anxiety a little bit about this whole transition?
No. He was more upset like the first time. So, and I was gone for like 5 years. So he's kind of, he got used to me being there, but not as much as before. You know, like where I was there day one of his life. So he's kind of like okay with it, and like we FaceTime and we text, so we keep in touch. So that's not really like an aspect in it. You know, I know he's there and I know he's good. And I know if I need to talk to him, I can. So I'm not really worried about that.
Okay. And that may be also something to think about too with your going back to your rewards, rewarding yourself. You know, maybe you do know that you're going to have a week once you start getting paid and you've got the money coming in. You know, you reward yourself that one weekend that you know you finally finished everything and you can go down and visit him.
Mm-hmm.
Or he can come up and visit you, and that's going to be, you know, something that may cost you a little bit of funds, you know, to get down there and come back up.
Mm-hmm.
But just thinking about ways that's going to help you feel like you're not just doing these mundane tasks or these boring tasks because you have to, or because it's necessarily a necessity, but this is something to help you and because you want to do this. This is your goal. So definitely doing that. Okay. So for next week, what we'll go ahead and do is I want you to just think a little bit more about what this transition is going to look like and try and put more into words what specifically is scaring you about the transition. Okay? And then we'll just kind of talk through that and see if we can start working through that a little bit better. Okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.